Hi everybody, I'm Dave Dunbar with General Pipe Cleaners. And here we have a Typhoon. Just arrived, the bubble wrap is still on it. We're starting to unpack it and we want to know what is it we have to do in order to make this thing operational so we can take it to a job site and start to make money on it right away. What are the initial steps that we have to go through to use this device successfully the first time? And to answer these questions, we've got an expert. One of the drain brains, JM-2512, who's our expert in jetter technology. A lot of the questions that people have when they first get a jetter come to Dave. So we're going to pick his brain as far as how to best use this device, okay? So Dave, thank you very much, by the way.
Thank you.
Appreciate this.
No
Good to
problem.
see you. So when somebody first gets this and they start to pull some of the bubble wrap off and they get it unpacked, what's the first thing they should look at?
Well, the first thing you want to do is walk around, make sure there's no damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just take a little stroll around, check, make sure nothing's damaged when you get it. No dents, no nothing, no parts missing. We'll go over that. Now, like right here, okay, this is the front. You want to make sure that this is a battery for the breakaway switch. This has electric brakes on it. So, and what that does, I'm sure people are familiar, but if you're not, what happens is you hook this up to your car. If something happens where it breaks away, this pin will pull out, and this is equipped with electric brakes.
To keep it from rolling off.
Right, so as soon
into
as
a
that
river or
goes and it
something.
breaks apart,
Yeah.
the brakes lock up, it stops.
Great.
Dead. So.
Okay. That's a good safety feature. Yeah.
You also have safety cones, so if you're doing work near a public road or anything, you can set the cones out.
Right.
But like I said, you just want to inspect everything, make sure everything's running good or looking good, no damage. And once you do that, you can start taking all the bubble wrap off.
Okay.
We'll go that route.
Start going that. So what do they need to look at right in here?
Well,
to
right
take
in
a look?
here, this is all the engine compartment. You have your gas tank over there. This is your antifreeze tank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, of course, there's your engine. Honda, 24 horsepower.
Okay, 24
And you
horsepower.
have your
Honda.
pump here, and then you have all your switch gauges. This is mainly for your Vibra-pulse.
The Vibra-pulse if you wanted to vibrate the hose if you were in a tight
when
spot.
it's going down.
Right.
Your control valve for the turning the water on and everything is in the back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Right here, this is all for these switches, the valves and everything here are for your antifreeze tank.
What's the antifreeze tank for?
Well, and during the winter, if you're in a state where there's cold or freezing, you can actually pump antifreeze through your hoses and through your pump so it doesn't freeze.
So to protect it,
Correct.
Isn't that the way most pumps actually die in the north? Is
Right,
they freeze,
because
right?
they freeze.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is important stuff.
So, and if you go online, there's a step-by-step exact nice instructions on how to set up your antifreeze.
Great. Great.
But then, if you want to go in the back here.
Well, just out of question. How much gasoline do you have to have in the tank before you actually start
The
it
best
first
thing
time?
to do is just fill it all
Just
the way
fill it
up.
up?
Yeah,
Okay.
fill it all the way up. That way you want, once initial fill up,
Right.
then you can have half tank, quarter tank, it doesn't matter.
Okay, good. And how about the water tank? How
Water
much
tank.
water should we have in before you try to
Well,
turn it on the first time?
Now, this is a 200-gallon tank, and you have to have a minimum of 40 gallons. There's a float in there that will actually float up. If you do not have 40 gallons in there, it will not start.
Okay.
Plus also the motor has a low oil shut off, that if the oil goes low in the motor, it'll shut off.
So if somehow the oil had drained out or something in transit or something
Right.
like that, it wouldn't start. So that'd be another thing to take a look at.
Right.
If there
Well,
was an
there's a
issue.
dipstick, you can actually check that
Okay,
also to
great.
make sure, because they are shipped with oil in it.
Okay.
So, but you might want to check it anyway,
Okay.
things happen.
Yeah, sure. All right.
All right, so if you come back here, okay, and you look, you have two reels.
Right.
This is your 3/4 horsepower, or 3/4 diameter hose. It's a supply hose, 200 feet. And what that does is so you can hook it up to a bib.
Like a hose
Hose
bib or a garden.
anything, right?
Yeah,
You can
garden.
just fill it that way, or you can actually. A lot of plumbers, what they'll do is they'll remove the lid
This thing?
there, right, and they'll fill it up from a fire hydrant.
Fire hydrant. Okay.
Yes.
That'd be quicker.
A lot quicker.
Yeah.
And then here you have your 400 feet of half-inch hose.
Okay. High pressure hose. The
High
part that
pressure
goes
hose.
down the drain. Right.
That is correct.
Okay.
This is what Now here is actually back here is your control center.
Okay.
Okay. This is here is a variable speed reel, so you can actually control
this.
it to come back.
Okay. So after it jets itself out, if
Right.
this will pull itself
When
back.
you're all
so you don't
done
have
and
to-
everything else, right, you can,
Oh, that's good.
you just hit the, and it's a variable speed. You can bring it back as fast as you'd like.
Okay. Good.
This is actually your valve for the turn the water on. You have your gauge here. Once you have all your 40 got the tank filled, everything ready to go. I'm getting ahead of myself, but this is the valve to turn it on.
Okay.
So now let's inspect in here in the drawers. It's got a storage compartment with 2 drawers. Okay, inside here, this is where your control for your speed and your choke and your throttle is all
So
right here.
this is where you actually start the machine?
This is where you're actually starting.
You
the
start it
machine.
from the rear and the back?
That is correct.
Rear right, okay.
Yes. Now, one thing about this, this is a screw-out throttle. It's an adjustable throttle.
Okay.
You can screw it out, and that way you can get the RPMs up or down. You can unscrew it all the way out, and you're running full speed on the motor. But you can turn it in if you have to turn it down. It is a variable speed.
Okay.
But the control here is, there's a lock right here also that you can actually, once you get it rolling, you can actually turn that lock, and it'll keep that.
So
It'll keep that at that speed of the motor. So
Okay.
you can, and then to shut it down, you have to unscrew this, and screw it back in, and it pulls the throttle back down. And then shut the key. There's also
So
a
the
key
rear
to
of the
start.
shaft has something you can use to actually, tighten the throttle, keep it
To
that
keep
place.
it stable.
Right, okay. Okay, and what's
So
that red button on the front there? What's
Well,
that
the
for?
red button is just to get it loose. You push that to start turning it.
Ah, I see. Okay, good. All right, and then you have the choke next to it,
There's
right?
the choke. Now you also have your key in here too to start
don't
it. 'Cause
lose the key.
It is electric start. Now it does come over here in this part here. It does. Here's your battery right here. Okay, what it does come with a battery, but it's a shell.
right here?
Right, inside
Okay.
the battery compartment.
Okay.
There is a battery in there,
Okay.
but we can't ship it with acid.
Because of
Okay.
federal
It's
regulations.
federal regulations.
Yeah, okay.
And, I mean, we can, but it would be so expensive, it's not worth it.
Okay.
So what we do, we put a battery in there, and all you have to do is go to your local hardware store, and you just buy about a box of acid.
Okay.
And you fill each cylinder up, and you're good to go.
And this is something they know about. If you go to an auto store.
Oh, yeah,
they-
just tell them you want a box of battery acid, and that's no problem.
Okay, good. Okay, all right.
So then-
Good. So we come back down here.
Now we're coming back here. Now inside here, here's all your. This is what you want to. Here's your books for the motor and everything.
The
else.
operating instructions.
Operating instructions, everything. Now, but this here, right here,
Okay.
this
now-
is what they call the certificate of origin.
Right, that's
This
important.
is very important. This is what you take to your DMV,
Right.
so you can get a title for the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Good,
very
good.
important. Don't lose that.
Okay, that's right up on top, right in the
Right
rear
inside,
left,
in these
inside
little
the compartment, right?
bags.
Okay.
Also inside here, you get a spray wand with a 50-foot hose, and also your nozzles are inside the.
So the
inside
nozzles for the
cabinet.
high pressure hose.
High pressure nozzle. You'll get
Okay.
three different nozzles.
Okay, high performance
High
nozzles.
performance nozzles.
Right, okay, good. Okay, so if I had this ready, if I had water in the tank, 40 gallons in it, I had the gas all filled
Right.
up, I was ready to go, I take this to the job site, I'm ready to start it up, what would be the steps after I make sure that
Well,
all the
everything,
fluids
the
are right?
water's in, everything's going, you
Right.
got your battery going, their tank's ready, you're all ready to go.
All ready to
Get
go?
to your job site, say you're parked on the street, and you have a clean out in the yard.
Right.
Okay? You just take your hose, first thing what you're gonna do is you're gonna fire the jet up.
Okay.
Once you get to your place,
Okay.
make sure if you're near the road, make sure we have the cones there you can set up. We also have a beacon light inside here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just bolts, take this bolt off and the bolt slides up, and it's a yellow beacon light flashing. Just
So let them know that
let
there's
them know
some
that
work
there's some
going
work
on
going
here.
on here.
Okay.
And that they take your cones and you can line your cones up
Right.
for safety purposes.
That makes
It's the best
sense.
thing to do.
Right, good,
So
good.
after you get all that going, okay, now what you can do is you can actually turn your key, start the jet.
Okay,
All right, make sure everything's good, the idle's good, everything good. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hose
uh-huh.
and you're gonna drag it over to your job.
To where
Down
the
into
clean out
drain,
is.
the
Right,
clean out.
right.
So you dang it, put it in about, you want it in there a good 4 or 5 feet.
This is after you've put a nozzle on, all that
yeah,
stuff,
I'm
right?
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Put your nozzle on, get everything going.
Okay.
Take it over, put it down in the drain.
4 or
at
5
least
feet though.
Easy. Yes.
Why do you want to have it down 4 or
Well,
5 feet?
because if if you're not, if you're by yourself, you can act, otherwise you don't want that hose flying out and going all over.
Right.
So if you put
it's
it,
high pressure, right?
right,
Yeah.
you're running 12 gallons a minute at 2,500 PSI.
So what happens if that stream of high pressure water makes contact with your skin?
You're gonna get a nice cut.
Yeah, it's a trip to the
do
emergency room, right?
Right, you do not
so,
want that.
So you want to hide it down the pipe far
actually,
enough, right?
you get gloves and you get glasses.
Right,
The best thing to do is to get, because even when you're working your hose, you don't know if anything's going to be coming flashing out or squirting out. So it's best make sure you wear your gloves.
So safety is the first concern in this case. Okay, good.
All right, now after you get it going, it's started, your hose is ready. Now what you can do, you can come over here, everything's running good. This is your on and off valve. This will run,
This is
put
the
the
main
water
valve,
down,
huh?
the main valve down the hose. You can take that and just open it right up.
Okay.
Now your gauge will
It'll show you pressure.
show you your pressure. You should be running around 2,500 PSI
at 12 gallon a minute.
at 12 gallons a minute
Okay.
at full.
And then just sort of like forward
Then-
and back motion, hose
Now
down
what you
the
can
drain.
do too then
Uh-huh.
is once you're down in the drain working your hose, you can come over and put the Vibra-pulse on.
Ah, in case you get into a tight spot, you're
Get
having
into a
trouble
tight
getting around
spot,
a
or
bend.
or actually if you're going out a little ways,
Yeah.
you might want to come in. The knob is right, the valve's right here. Just open it up, and the hose will
Vibrates
start
the hose.
vibrating. That makes it a lot easier going down the drain, and also when you're working it, you want to go out about 5 feet, back 3.
Okay.
Out about 5, back 3.
Okay.
Just keep working it that way. The Vibra-pulse will help it go down and then make it easier when you're coming back.
Okay. All right. So now, when you're done with the job, you've actually done the whole pipe and you're ready to go.
You're done the water, what you're going to do, if you had the Vibra-pulse on, you're going to shut the Vibra-pulse off.
Okay. All right.
And then you're going to come back to your panel back here, and you're going to shut your hose reel off.
Okay.
All right? Now,
That's when you have it fairly close, or is that still down the pipe?
it's still down the pipe.
Okay.
You're going to leave it in the pipe.
Okay.
You don't want to pull it out while you still have your water. going
Ah,
on
good
right
point.
now.
Good
So
point. Yeah.
What you're going to do is come back and shut your water off. Once you shut your water off,
Right.
now you're okay. Now you
Okay.
can come over here. You can actually throttle down. You can throttle down by screwing it in. Remember, it screws in.
It screws in and out
Right.
in order to affect the throttle. Okay.
Right. And then all you do is you can shut your key off.
And turn
And
off.
Shut
turn
that
off the motor. Okay.
Now also, when you want to get the hose back in, you just turn on your rewind.
Okay.
And like I said, it's variable speed, and just guide it back in as you're speeding back, and hook it up, and you're done.
Okay. I noticed there's something here that.
Well, that's if you're doing, say you're doing a manhole cover.
Right.
You want to lift that up, put there, and actually you can run the
hose
hose
is
through
right
here.
down there.
And it's a guide.
Yeah. So
It
if it's
keeps
convenient,
up,
you can use
especially
that.
if you're, yeah, you can use that also if you're dragging it across the line this way. It helps it to keep it from flipping around.
Right.
The
And
hose.
maybe when it's coming back too. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The best, it is real good to bring it back. 'Cause you can
Yeah.
guide it right there, and it'll go right back on the hose reel.
Okay.
And it's
Good.
really, just lift up the knob back in, and it closes back up.
Perfect. Okay. Anything else that you get questions on from customers the first time you're using this machine? That's about it.
That's about it. Yeah, no, it's a very good machine. We don't have very many problems with it.
Very reliable.
Yes,
it does a
very
good job, and from what I've been hearing from people in the field, it pays for
Yep.
itself pretty quickly.
Yes, it does.
So, thank you very much. Appreciate it. If they have any other questions, anything else comes up, can they call the Drain Brains?
Call
at
the Drain
800
Brain and just ask for me. I go by DW at the plant.
Okay. And it's 800-245-6200. The Drain Brains at General. Toughest tools down the line. Thanks a lot, David.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.